Michigan loses at home to Maryland. They drop their second consecutive home game, and they drop out pretty much of Big Ten title contention. One win for Michigan State in Iowa City tonight, and this thing is all wrapped up. It was another gutless performance from Michigan. Very uninspiring first half, 22 points for the Wolverines. They were down 11 at halftime, and I don't know, I guess give them credit for making things semi-interesting in the second half, but they never took the lead back. Led 14-7 midway through the first half and then just really hit a wall and fell apart. All the issues that we've talked about that have plagued this team in recent weeks, even in the close wins, are louder than ever right now. No guard play. Roddy Gale and Reuben Jones are unplayably bad. And unfortunately, they're better than the Michigan bench still. So they have to play through their unplayably bad woes. It was a good win for Maryland. I don't think this was Maryland's best game by any means, but Roddy Rice hit some pretty awesome shots off the dribble. Selton Miguel and Roddy Rice felt like the difference in this game. Both front courts played well, but Maryland has great supporting cast pieces that can make shots from outside. Michigan does not. And Derek Queen with a Ken Palm MVP. You said the best big in this game was Mr. Queen. 17 and 12 from him, a block and two steals. Not the most efficient night. 5 for 13 from the floor, 7 from 11 from the free throw line. But hey, you got the win in 17 and 12. I think you'll take that every single time. So, Cart, what you thinking from this game? How do you feel about this one?
So for me, this was, and I want to say you said this. This is kind of the microcosm, I think, of Michigan's season, especially as of late. I thought you got good performance from Danny. Like, yes, he had the 5 turnovers, but I thought I loved his aggressiveness even before he picked up those 2 fouls in the first half. I thought he came out extremely aggressive and strong in this game. I think he had the first 7 points in this game, and he had a little bit of everything. He had the 3-pointer early on. And I thought he was aggressive even into the second half. And you'll take those turnovers if you're getting, the aggressiveness from Danny, which I like. He had 13 shot attempts in this game. And then, Vlad was a little bit off, I think, finishing in this game, but he gave you 20 points as well, gave you 20 and 15. This came down to the guards. The guards could not do anything in this basketball game. The guards couldn't even make post entries in this basketball game. I could count like 4 or 5 times where Selton Miguel or whoever it was that was guarding the wing was just stealing entry passes into the post. Like could not throw simple passes down low. I thought that Danny tried to lead a charge in the second half and make it close. And Maryland kind of stalled out offensively, but I think they were able to make enough timely shots, like you said, with Rodney Rice. I think I saw something that Maryland didn't even score in the last 5 minutes of this game, something revolving that, or didn't make a field goal in the last 5 minutes, and Michigan just really wasn't able to get over the hump. And it's unfortunate because I think if you get anything from the Gales, the Burnett's, even if it had to be something like if there was any time for LJ Casey to finally have a game, it could have really been nice in this one. But you didn't get much from them. I think at a certain point in this game, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Dusty switch to like Will Cheddar at the three?
Yeah, he's been doing that the last couple games in
Has he?
spots. He did it a lot this game. Yeah.
I mean, you got to do that because you're not getting anything from Gale at that spot or even Reuben Jones.
You know what that is?
Unfortunate.
A cry for help,
Yeah.
a desperation plea. Now, I don't mean to disrespect Will Cheddar, who's been great. Will Cheddar, I mean, when he does that, he's playing Will at the 4, he's playing Vlad at the 5, he's playing Danny at the 3, which like Danny is mobile enough that in theory you can play this supersized lineup, but defensively that lineup gets abused. I mean, it's not mobile enough. It doesn't work. So, yeah, at the same time, like I understand why he's trying it because this team has nothing else right now. They don't have shooting at bare minimum. I've been screaming about it. They have to provide some spacing for these guys. You mentioned it. Look. I thought Golden and Wolf. Say what you want about the turnovers with Danny. Some were really bad. We'll talk about that. But you got 20 and 15 from Vlad. You got 20 and 8 from Danny.
I thought
Not
Danny was the best player in this game.
not one of those buckets came easy for either of them because there is zero space. There is negative spacing. Teams are not even guarding Roddy Gale, and he's airballing wide open threes. And Dylan keeps telling me, UM Hoops, he's got to take them. That's what other coaches say. Like I don't know how you can play a guy that is 1 for his last 29 from three. Like that's a real number. It's not even an exaggeration at this point. And the issue is Reuben Jones is just as bad. Reuben Jones had 2 turnovers in 17 minutes, 0 for 2 from the floor, 0 rebounds. Great game, Reuben. Like I have no idea what you're supposed to do, and I'd like a dialogue on it in general. But to try and I don't know, find some enjoyment out of this before I just go full doomsday here. And credit to Maryland too as well. But yeah, before I go full doomsday, Cart, would you mind if I get a little musical?
You know damn well you never have to ask me if you want to get musical.
Well, Cart, my team essentially just pissed down their leg and blew an outside chance at a Big Ten championship. That's what happened here. I mean, you lose Michigan State, Illinois, and Maryland at home.
Yeah,
Needed to win one of those at minimum. Just one gives you a chance on the final day of the regular season.
yeah.
Instead, nope, 0-3, and here we are. So it got me thinking, Cart. Kind of feels like the world is ending a little bit, and like to summon the sounds of the great JP Sachs.
Please.
There's 2 verses I want to warn you. Haven't decided if I'm doing the second one in a fake Julia Michaels falsetto voice yet, but we'll make a game time decision. The crowd was distracted and sporadic. We didn't feel it when the first loss happened, but it really got me thinking. In Dusty's first season, stumbled up the standings into second for no reason. Oh, it's been a year now. Think I figured out how to win 11 games by 1 possession somehow. And I know, you know, we weren't ever really even all that good. But I know, we know you should have taken Indiana while you could. When the season ends, you'll use the portal right. Spend some money on a guard that's nice. Cut Roddy Gale just for the hell of it. Or else we'll fall back to irrelevance. And as the season ends, it wasn't all that bad. I'm thinking back to all those wins we had. There was a time that we saved the Big Ten, but then our rival was the best again. But when the season ends, you'll use the portal right. Right. When the season ends, you'll use the portal right. Right. I try to imagine the subtraction of Reuben Jones and Roddy Gale and what would happen if we had Elijah Martin. Would it be that hard then? Would we not have lost to Minnesota at the barn then? Oh, and should I mention, since that damn extension, Torvik says we're worse than Indiana per possession. But I know, we weren't ever really even all that good. And I know, Izzo will go beat us by 100, and he should. But when the season ends, you'll use the portal right. Get Trey McKinney, someone else's type. And I don't mean that like his body mass. I mean a guard that isn't strictly ass. And as the season ends, I'm getting pretty mad. The sky is falling, all we have is Vlad. When Danny leaves us for the NBA, get someone who won't throw the ball away. When the season ends, you'll use the portal right. Right. When the season ends, you'll use the portal right. Right. Thank you.
Thank you very. I mean, that was very well done, and good on you for not leaving that second verse out. It was special.
Never leave the second verse out, Cart. Never leave it out.
Always go downstairs. Never leave the second verse out. Sleepers commandments.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Small picture or big picture frustrations? Which do you want from me right now? I have
let's let's start small.
Start small. Okay. There's nothing this team can do to fix this.
Hmm.
Like there isn't an adjustment. There isn't a schematic change. He's tried a junk zone. He's tried cheddar at the 3. He's tried free casing. He's tried it all at this point. Other than Sam Walters deciding to not quit basketball and stay in the portal, this team has no additional changes they can make here. Basically, the only outcome where this gets on track and or salvages something this season is the guys on the floor play better. we're over a month of this right now. Trey Donaldson's not going to play better. He's the only guy I have even an inkling of faith that maybe he'll rediscover what he had 2 months ago. Reuben Jones is horrible, and he's also sick, and he can't play. Roddy Gale is as bad, if not worse, and he's not getting out of this funk. Just straight up not happening. So, like, what can they possibly do? I feel like every single game the story is like, yeah, you just gotta hope they play like they did in December. No, like
That's
this season
that.
has fallen off the rail. And now, by the way, body language shit, they are all broken. I mean, you can look at the guys on this bench right now. You can look at the way Dusty's walking around. Like this team is desperate, searching for answers, and frustrated because they know how broken they are. And that's my frustration. I feel like every other team in the country, when they hit a wall like this, it's like, oh, they should do this. Think about how many times Purdue had to reinvent themselves this season. And Painter always did and had answers. This team has none. What is the answer other than Donaldson, Gale, Reuben Jones, Kaysen, play better? I don't think there is one.
Yeah, I don't think there is either. I think it's past the point of just those guys recapturing their first month form, whatever you want to say, first half of the season form. I guess small picture question for you in an attempt to glass half full this. You're gonna hate this, but I'm gonna make this attempt here. Is there any part of you that's like, it's crazy that Dusty got this team to this point?
Yeah, I mean,
Is there any bit, because that's the angle I possibly would take, is like Dusty got a team with this guard play. Now the guard play is his fault, don't get me wrong. But he got this team to where it's at.
listen, you're not gonna hear me go that route because I want to contend when I'm in contention. But like, yes, I think you're objectively correct. It has been a little bit crazy that a team built around Trey Donaldson, Reuben Jones, and Roddy Gale and Amari Burnett is where it's at in the stand. They're going to finish. I mean, they lose to Michigan State. I guess they're going to finish in a tie for what, second with a bunch of teams. But um, they've basically been solo second the whole season, if not fluctuating in and out of first. It is never a bad thing when your team wins more games than they should based on the caliber of their team. And that's been the story of this team. You can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want, but this team overachieved in the wins column. So, yeah, objectively, that's a success. But I'm not sitting here like excited about that at this point as the season collapses, you know?
Yeah, a tough stretch to get you there, and then just sputter, like you stated.
Yeah. And just again, it's not just like, oh, they're playing badly. It looks to me that this team has lost all faith in themselves. This team, like Trey Donaldson and Reuben Jones and Roddy Gale look like they know they're bad and they don't believe they can get out of it. Their body language is awful. They're a mess. They're a total mess. They've lost all ability to do anything on the basketball court. And yeah, I've really not seen anything like it because you think back to the beginning of the season, man, like they weren't stellar, don't get me wrong. But Roddy Gale was in double figures in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the first 15 games of this year. He had 3 Ken Palm MVPs. He was like a legitimately good player. I think he led Michigan in scoring for the first 2 months of the season. And I mean, Amari Burnett was the number one efficient shot making wing in the country. He hasn't really fallen off all that bad. He's just making less shots than he was. Donaldson was legitimately awesome for a month of this season. Like he went from like consistently, legitimately productive to consistently terrified. And I don't understand how that just switch flips. I don't get it. And then Reuben, I don't know what Reuben's always been awful to me, but he's battled sickness and he had like a good 2 game stretch a couple weeks ago and has been a disaster since he missed a couple games due to illness. So I don't know what you do with this, but I don't understand how simultaneously, how do all 4 of those guys hit their individual floors? Like, oh, Roddy Gale's going through it. That would be one thing. How is Trey Donaldson and Roddy Gale and Reuben Jones all going through this equally? And then your break glass in case of emergency guy is the guy you didn't take his warm-ups off for 3 months when you could have been developing him.
Mm.
Like it's the way the backcourt has hit this point is unacceptably frustrating to me
Yeah, you're just left with no options.
because they are better players than this. Like they're not great, but they are better than this, and that's what I'm struggling to come to
And
terms with,
that's on
right?
Dusty. That's on Dusty in this case, right?
Correct, 100%.
Right.
100%. How does four different guys at two positions play to their floor simultaneously?
So big picture,
For a
does that
month,
fall
not one game, for a month. They're broken.
big picture, does that fall into the frustrating category? Because
Ugh.
that's what was impressive about what he did, like outside of the run at FAU, right? The run was impressive, the success was impressive. What he got out of those guys was even more impressive. Like he had like John L. Davis has been solid for Arkansas. John L. Davis was looking like the best guard in the country. Elijah Martin looked great. Nick Boyd looked great. All these guys on FAU were looking incredible. So, that would make me uneasy. That's supposed to be Dusty's is part of his bread and butter. He's supposed to be a guy who gets the most out of his guys, and he didn't for, like you said, a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, here's my frustration. I floated this in the UM Hoops forums and they all snapped on me
You're back
immediately.
in the forums.
I've been back in the forums, dog. I referenced this on like a bunch of recaps this year. Yeah, I got
That's
back into the
funny.
beginning of the season to show support. Dylan does great work, but um, yeah, I like. I mean, I'm a takes guy, you know this, but I'm going in there being spicy, and people don't like it. People want pure blind fandom, right? So I floated like, hey, probably should be a little concerning that every single guard on this team is playing to their individual floor all at once for a month. Like that's on the staff, that's on Dusty. And also, if we want to talk big picture, I see a little bit of a correlation here to I don't want to like John L was legitimately good all season, so you can't say that. But last year with FAU, I don't even think the team necessarily underachieved, but by the end of that season, there were questions on like, are John L and Elijah enjoying this? Like that was a real thing. When Dusty left FAU and
Mm,
then both guys were in the portal, right? It was like all of the rumors, all the rumblings, all the intel was like John L and Elijah will not play together again.
mm.
Team sputtered, lost to Boo Booey in the first round, and then John L and Elijah were like, get me out of here. So look, that backcourt was still way more productive than this one because John L played great. He was better under Dusty than he was this season. Elijah Martin was not better than he was this season. And when the offseason decisions came, what did I hear on the decisions of trying to bring these guys with him, Cart? I heard that Dusty wanted John L and was done with Elijah. Elijah Martin is exactly what this team needs.
Elijah would have been great on this team. You sub in Elijah for Roddy Gale.
He's exactly what this team needs. And I'm not saying Elijah might not have wanted to come anyway. But the point is, like, I don't think it's just this year that Dusty May guards have plateaued and been grumpy to end a season. Like, that scares me. That scares me that back-to-back years, like, you couldn't just figure out how to get the best out of a backcourt cohesively together when it matters. You did that. That's how your tenure at FAU ended. John L. and Elijah clearly didn't like each other, and they're out. And now you're in Ann Arbor, and this is the worst backcourt any good team has had in the country. So I have no idea what you do with this. I think those are two data points. Those two data points are as important as the data point from the year before where everybody was spectacular and he made a Final Four run. So, like, none are more important than the other. They're just data points. Put them on the plot and let's figure it out. But I will say this going into next year, Trey McKinney's coming in. The number one thing I need to see from my head coach is a good backcourt. Figure it out. And you better prioritize that in a way you did not prioritize it this summer because you spent this offseason locking up front court guys, dilly-dallying around in the backcourt, trying to swoop in and take AJ, whatever his name is. I don't know, AJ Mitchell. That was the plan. Your plan's a guy who's not even playing college basketball. That was the plan this summer for the backcourt spot, and it failed.
AJ Mitchell's nice. He would have been nice on this team. There's a lot of, I mean,
No shit. A guy in the NBA would have been nice on this team. Like,
yeah. Also, Aiden Mahaney would have been nice, I feel like. I know he hasn't been good at UConn, but I feel like he could have I don't know. He's better than what y'all got.
I think I could help this team in the backcourt right now. I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have much else, man. I don't know if there's much else to talk about from this game other than like Michigan was furiously trying to come back and they turned it over like six straight times. Trey Donaldson threw it to the backcourt. Danny Wolf with some careless ones.
So and some turnovers are different, right? Sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, the defense is making great plays. There's so many careless turnovers for me. Like I understand why you are so frustrated. It would drive me crazy. Um, so I guess last big picture thing I'll ask about Michigan in this game, or just for the season in general. Season salvageable? Yes? No? Like you win, you go to Sweet 16, you're good, right?
Yeah, of course, but
Okay. All right. That's what because
I would bet
I don't want you to give up, Gregory.
I would never bet a cent that this team will win an NCAA tournament game.
Dusty in March?
No, thank you. Not
I
with
mean,
this.
so
Not with this backcourt.
somewhere between Final Four run and getting packed up by Chris Collins in the first round. Somewhere
Not with
in
this backcourt. I will say this: Danny Wolf had some words on this exact thing after this game, and Danny's not exactly like a vocal leader. I don't know that this team has a vocal leader card. I think if it was a guy, it would be Will Cheddar, just one of the guys who's been here before, right? But Danny, like I really haven't heard Danny say much at any point this season. And after the game, he spoke with the media. It felt important that he spoke with the media. And he told the media that he sort of addressed the team after the game for one of the first times this season because he could tell this locker room was pretty broken, right?
Mm.
But what he said was interesting to me because I didn't think about this until I heard Danny tell the story of it. Last year with Yale, Danny lost the final game of the regular season in overtime to Brown. It was a game like they absolutely shouldn't lose. Yale was way better. And they lost. And Yale doesn't even do like championships in the regular season. Like they crown one, but you don't get anything for winning the Ivy League. You have to win the Ivy League tournament to make the NCAA tournament. And Yale lost to Brown. The team was gutted. They felt broken. They had lost three of their last six after being like the best team in the Ivy League for much of last year. And they went to the Ivy League tournament and got to the championship game and played Brown again a week later. It was a
Mm.
week after they had just had this heartbreaking loss to Brown. And they were down. I don't know if you remember this or not. They were down six with 27 seconds left. Yale was. And if they lost that game, they weren't going to tournament. Season was over. They miracle pulled it out of their ass. I think Pulikitis hit some shots.
Mhm.
And then they go on to the NCAA tournament. They beat Auburn. So I I just forgot that happened point blank. I remember watching it now that he says it, but I just forgot all about that. But I find it at least a little interesting, like in a moment where the whole locker room is clearly broken, Danny Wolf for the first time all year is taking on like a vocal listen to me role. And it's like, fellas, I've been through this shit. I've lost it at the end of a regular season. The most important time of the season is still ahead of us. We can completely rewrite this. He's right. They need to change everything that's going on the court for that to happen. But I at least like that Danny is willing to own this a little bit and step up as a leader in a way that he hasn't all year, quite frankly. Also, Trey Donaldson was probably listening to that story like, fuck you. You beat me in the tournament, dog. So,
Trey Johnson is watching from the back like that mellow looking at Rihanna pick, just like,
yeah.
like not anywho. I mean, yeah, look, there's still a slight chance that a share happens, right? It's not completely out of the cards, but also like
Stop that. It's no, we're not beating you in Breslin. Like, even if Iowa does this team a favor, I'm not kidding. I hope Iowa loses because I want no part of Michigan State actually trying to send a message on the final day of the season.
you don't want
Like, no,
that.
this team is as limping as they can possibly be, and y'all just got machine guns. Like, I want no part of this.
Yeah, I respect, but like I said, or like you said, the doom and gloom thing can't happen because there's still something to play for. There's
Yeah.
still game. Like, if anything, you can't whether it's I mean, like you said, it's good that Danny's saying that. Um, it has to be somebody. Somebody has to step up and be like, all right, like this whole like everyone dropping their head, feeling sorry for themselves, woe is me shit can't happen. Y'all act like our season's over. We got games to play. We're gonna be in the NCAA tournament. We are going to have a chance to beat teams. I'm gonna need guys to remember how to play basketball now. Any way you can, whatever your vice is, do it. Don't even care if it's illegal. Find a way to play good basketball again.
Don't even care if you need illegal vices to get right.
At this point, illegal vices are a go. We got to win some games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just frustrating because this team showed legitimately great level of play 2 months ago. And I almost wish it's like
You
obviously
wish
I'm
they
happy
did
that
it.
happened. If we hadn't seen that, I would just be like, this team's all time fluky lucky, whatever. But instead, I'm like, damn, there was a good team somewhere in here, you know? And they just botched it. Quickly on Maryland, you buying this team in March? You want some stock in Maryland?
I mean, I just if the starting five play well, it's a really tough team. It's a tough team. They got to go to guard and Gillespie. They got two really good bigs in Queen and Reese, and they got Miguel and they got Rice. And Rice and Miguel, when they're making shots, this is a tough team to beat.
You sounded like your impression of Hunter Dickinson there. The starting five, well, it's a tough team. It's a
I
tough team.
mean, yeah, it's a tough team. It's a tough team. I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go there, but like it's a good school, tough team. But no, shout out to them. First bench points since February 20th. A Jordan Geronimo dynamite dunk on Vlad Golden. That was pretty cool. Um, but the Maryland team needs so much to go right for them, but it also can go right in a small sample size. Like
Yeah.
if you get those five playing well, this is a really good team because you got two great bigs and you got three guys that can shoot the ball. And Gillespie is a guy who has some takeover guard march like magic, I think, in him. So you feel good about that. But at the same time, this team is two awful foul calls away or something like that from losing the first game of the tournament, truly, because they'll be forced to play Deshaun Harris Smith or Geronimo or Jay Young.
Yeah. Um, Maryland's clearly very good. Any Maryland fans watching this, I know I've disrespected your team a lot lately. They're clearly
They're
very
also
good.
sorry, they're also good defensively too. Like
Yeah.
I think they're really good like with quick hands. Like, I know Michigan has some careless turnovers. Also, I thought that Maryland did a good job ball pressuring and knowing who their guard and good scouting report as far as who they need to like be up on. Maryland's also very good defensively.
I think Maryland is largely a like they remind me of Michigan if Michigan had a good backcourt and shooters. Like that's Maryland's what I want this Michigan team to be. Selton Miguel and Rodney Rice are awesome, high volume snipers. Rodney Rice being able to do some off the dribble is like a nice luxury for this team. And Miguel's just a perfect role player, 3-and-D guy. Jacoby Gillespie, I thought stunk in this game. He had one
Yeah.
really nice pull up three, and then he immediately gave up two free throws by not getting back on defense so he could shush the crowd. I will say he's good. I don't trust that guy at all in March, just like I don't trust Derek Queen at all. And I just am not their trust level with this team. I think they're very clearly really good. It's good puzzle pieces. It fits together as a puzzle. But it's like if one of those puzzles just like gets kicked under the couch for the wrong moment in a game, then what? You don't have any backup puzzle pieces here at all. So it could happen. I could see a deep run in the NCAA tournament because their starters are that good. But some of the issues, like Derek Queen rocks. And he did a lot of the things I've been criticizing him for in this game, like just finesse, tough shots, kind of bad, hang your head, like lazy shit that I thought kept Michigan in the game. Jacoby Gillespie was terrible and had the moment, like we said, where he shushed the crowd and missed defense. Really, they won this game because Rice and Miguel were awesome. And that's the difference. Michigan doesn't have those guys at those positions. Maryland does. Give them credit for it, but it's not exactly a team I'm like trying to rally behind as like I believe in this group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stuff could go wrong for Maryland quickly.
Yeah.
But it's just that five is just you've seen what it looks like when that five all plays well together. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. They're talented. They're good. You just have a hard time trusting that team because they are the margins are slim.
The thing I trust most about that team is Rice and Miguel. I trust that those role players are going to show up and be the same every single game. Gillespie's been really good. I would vote him second team All Big Ten. I don't know. Something with him is like a little, like I think he got punked at Michigan State, and this game was a weird one. And then Derek Queen can be incredible, or Derek Queen can make a bunch of losing plays. Feels like both happen every game at this point.
That dude loves a deep two.
It's crazy.
He'd
His
be
shot
great at
selection's
he'd be
insane.
great at Michigan State. We love a toe on the line too.
Kevin Willard's an all-time liar, by the way. There is zero world where Derek Queen should be the first pick in the draft. Like, I
Let him
don't
hype his
even,
guy. Let him hype his guy up.
I don't know that he should be a top 10 pick in the draft, but hey.
What do you think about Willard's little half or little timeout interview with Cats?
What did he say? I didn't, I was so upset I walked away.
Okay, so that was when y'all were winning.
No. Oh,
Yeah,
early?
yeah, early, like the
Oh, I
very
must have
first.
missed that. I thought you were saying the halftime interview.
Oh, no, no, no. This was like one of the like the you get them at the media timeout. Y'all are up like 12 or 14-7, maybe something like that. It was after Danny hit the three and then Damari had the wing three. And like Katz went to Willard and he's just like, yeah, so well, what are you seeing out there? What do you like about what do you need to change, basically, doing the Katz thing. And Willard's just like, I mean, they hit a lucky three. And then just looks at Cash and does like a shoulder shrug and like laughs. He's like, I mean, that three at the top was lucky. That's about it. Thanks, Andy. And then just walks away.
Yeah.
I'm like, Danny Wolf can shoot.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, any three we make is lucky. We shot 35% from three in this game, and that's even that felt horrible, but it's
How many
way
did you
better than
make?
we've shot. Seven,
7.
7 for 20.
Hmm.
Not awful, but
Not all. I mean, America's defense is good though. I will say that. I feel like when you talk about their five talented players and what they can do offensively, like Miguel is really good defensively. Gillespie is like, I know he's smaller, but he's got like super quick hands. Like, you know, like not Tyson, but like Tyson had really quick hands, but he wasn't necessarily the greatest defender. He was an okay defender, but he had really quick hands. Derek Queen has quick hands. They forced a lot of turnovers.
you know
You
what it
know,
is? I think it's jealousy. I think I'm jealous of Maryland, and that's why I can't get all the way there. Because they are exactly what I want Michigan
you were
starting team
that
to be.
that's what you were supposed to get. Like
Yeah.
Selton Miguel was supposed to be Namari Burnett.
Yep.
I don't know if Trey Donaldson's supposed to be Jacoby Gillespie, but like Rodney Rice was supposed to be Roddy Gale-esque, I
Yeah.
guess.
Roddy Gale was supposed to be Rodney Gale, and instead
Right.
he's Roddy. And I don't know. They're so sexy, beautiful. I just want to taste. That's why I still get jealous, you know?
I'd say.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats, Maryland, Michigan. Just, I'm so sad we have to go to the Breslin Center. And Doug, think about 2 weeks ago, it was like such an exciting moment. We were talking about how these two programs were like back and what a meaningful game. And just the way Michigan has limped to the finish line just has zapped all life from this. It sucks.
But what if
I mean, yeah,
y'all win? If y'all win at the Bres, you're back.
somehow steal a win at Brez, then yeah, we can just revisit. But I feel like they could lose this game by 35. I really do. I think the last thing this team wants to do right now is play a good basketball team, let alone like in a scary environment with a team that hates you.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough, tough out.
Crazy. All right.